Have you ever been stuck when you're either reading a tarot reading or you've done a personality test and it's like, well, what's the steps? How do I move forward? Welcome to the Mystic Personas Dual Path Dynamics. So the Mystic Personas is an additional deck you can either add to your tarot, or you can use this as just a self-transformational tool on a daily basis, weekly basis, however frequent works for you. The best part about this particular deck and system is that there is no wrong way on how to use this system. So we have the core here. I've broken this one deck up into three different decks. We have our, what we call core. This is who established, our established personalities when we started as a kid and what has shaped us as we are evolving individuals. We're not just one stagnant thing. Never makes any sense. So when the personality tests really walk through, hey, this is who you are and this is all you're going to be. That's impossible. Who you were at age 5 versus who you were at age 55 is vastly different. So the core are the core personas. We have the shadows, and shadows are nothing to be afraid of. These are self-limiting beliefs. These are, negative thought patterns. These are just patterns in general that we want to stop. And then we have the oracle. These are when we really hit our highest good, when we're stuck in the shadows. How do we get out of the shadows? So I'm going to walk through how to use this deck. Again, there is no right or wrong way on how to use this. So let's just say you want to do a one-time everyday, draw, whether you want to mix these together or you just want to say, I'm really, really getting stuck in a lot of shadows. Where do I go from here? So let's see if one jumps out at us. Oh, shadows. Whoop, there we go. The striver. The striver is consumed by relentless ambition, pushing themselves to exhaustion in pursuit of perfection. They prioritize external validation over internal fulfillment, often sacrificing their well-being. So the inspirational dialogue. So this is when you are currently in the shadow. Sometimes there's these, little whispers that happen of insights, or these little insights or these little inspirational quotes that kind of come from you. If fulfillment comes from balance, not perfection. Your value is not tied to your productivity. So when we get really locked in the shadows, there's a be careful little section here of, I have to work harder than anyone else to prove my worth. If it's not perfect, it's not good enough. So the patterns of this persona, and the patterns are typically things that you're seeing on a daily basis from an individual, from yourself, depending on if you're pulling a read for somebody in particular, or if you are doing the read for yourself and your own transformation, whichever one you're utilizing this for. So overworking to the point of burnout, struggles to delegate or trust others with tasks, prioritizes perfection over practicality. So what do we do with this? So here's our shadow read. Let's say, okay, from the shadow, either I can do another just random selection, or I can also look what this says. So this says level 2 insights. So I can correlate it with each one of these cards to get really the blueprint of this particular persona that I may be stuck in, or that I might have some inspiration of, this pretty much resonates with me or resonates with the person that you're doing the read with. Now, let's say we just do, I'm going to do a intuitive poll, and I'm going to see, okay, before I dropped into this striver, what's kind of the baseline of, there we go. All right, the Whiz Mage. That makes perfect sense. So the Whiz Mage is all about strategy. They can get really locked in analysis and they keep on going. And sometimes they can get paralyzed when they're continuously going through the checklist of this is what I need to do. This is how I need to do it. See how she's so intent on what she is doing, that she's really creating worlds around her. But sometimes when we can get locked in that, it has to be perfect before I can do anything. We can actually fall into the striver, because the striver is really prioritizing and continuously going without any breaks and just to burnout, which the Wisdom Age is very notorious for falling into that kind of shadow. So again, you can get the correlating, or you can just do a intuitive pull from the oracle. And also, while you are, doing your tarot readings, if there's one that you need more clarification on of a particular person or yourself, these are great to add to it. Let's use Ember Flame. That's the first one on top. Ember Flame restores the heart fire from the shadow of the hollow flame. So it teaches the power of sustainable passion. They guide heart fire to balance, drive, self-care, fostering steady, purposeful warmth. So this one is phenomenal for this particular read of, sometimes we can, again, go so incredibly, micro-focused on what we're doing and analyze things so deep to the point where we fall into the shadows and we actually stop taking care of ourselves and truly loving ourselves. So really pulling that and that Ember Flame, because sometimes, that fire can kind of get burnt out, especially if we're burnt out. So how do you invoke that fire again? And each one has a very different message. So the inspirational dialogue, to sustain the light, nurture the flame within, exactly what we just talked about. So the path of inclusive leadership, foster purposeful boundaries, protecting your energy prevents burnout and maintains vitality. So here is one thing to work on today. Prioritize rest and renewal today. Take a moment to refuel before pushing forward. What an amazing message based off of those two cards. What we also can do, if you're using this deck for the first time, you can also pull all the decks together. It's going to be quite a big one to shuffle with, but now you can get more of a blended read. And if you're going to do a 3-card spread, and typically the standard is past, present, future. Okay, so that is past. The Ascendant. And okay, what is our present? Okay, the Lodestar. Ooh, a very good read. And what is our future? Okay, lot of futures there. Let's do that again. Okay, we're going to take the top one. Well, that's an interesting read. All right, so as I'm looking at this, we have 2 oracles. How I know that is this top. So the gold is going to be oracle. The more darker purple is going to be the shadow. And then when you look at this one, the smoky color is the core. All right, so the Ascendant. The Ascendant helps some of the other personas, but really balance the lofty ideals with actionable steps, transforming dreams into purposeful progress. They inspire grounded leadership that blends vision with reality. So just because you pull an oracle card does not mean you are constantly in that inspirational dialogue. It can also mean that there are some little whispers that can come in to really take notice. So that is, it's better to dream than risk failing in reality. Or the inspirational dialogue, turn dreams into steps that build a lasting legacy. And our read or our challenge for the day, challenge one personal limitation today. Where have you been holding yourself back? That's interesting. So that is would be a past. So you can correlate that with whoever you're working with, or if you're working with yourself, wow, that's what I did in the past. I was really taking that to the next level, but now I moved into what I currently am as the Lodestar. The Lodestar, it really blends foresight with decisive action. Ooh, that's a very good card. They transform endless analysis into empowerment steps, encouraging clarity and purpose-driven movement. So let's go down to this. Lead by example today, whether it's at work or in daily life, embody the qualities qualities you wish to see in others. So this is how we're showing up in the current present. And the facade hides behind a polished exterior, prioritizing appearance over authenticity. They fear vulnerability and avoid deeper connection by projecting an image of perfection. So it really goes through the patterns. So now what we can look at is, oh geez, okay, the patterns of this persona, they prioritize appearance over substance, avoids vulnerability by projecting perfection. So what I know that I can work on is I can either set this card aside and look at it and say, okay, these are the things I want to ensure that I'm not falling into. And you can grab either the lodestar or another oracle that you can say, correlate it with I really like these two combined. So I'm going to take this reading and just really look at, okay, I want to ensure that I do not fall into these patterns. And I want to ensure that I'm following these challenges and really inspiring myself. So that is a 3-card spread that you can do. That is just more of a full deck read, a full deck pull. You can also do, if you want to get really fancy, you can do a 7. So you can do the 7 chakras. Well, that just went all shadows. So you can really correlate it while you're in the read with either if you're reading for yourself again, or if you're reading for somebody else. So you can do that. And then if you want to even do a 3-3-3, it is the same concept. The nice thing about these cards is it really gives you a guide on the front and the back. So you're not pulling out, the booklet to get an understanding. This really gives you the blueprint on the back of the card. And again, you can either pull these as just, hey, I'm going to pull them on a more energetic, intuitive read. I'm going to actually look through these myself and say, hey, this is what I'm, struggling with today, and get really crystal clear on that transformation or that awareness. So there is no right or wrong way to use this. It makes it very, very simple. You do not need to learn a bunch of things. You can just go as simple as this and never learn anything else about this system. That's how simple transformation and how fun transformation can really be. So thank you so much. Please like, subscribe, and share with anyone that you believe that this would benefit from. And if you want to have any particular reads done, or if you want any more information, please drop it in the comments below, and I will be happy to do specific reads just for you. Looking forward to more mystic personas, so stay tuned.